Hey, welcome to the Scry-Fi first episode. I'm Christian Strain.
And I'm Daniel Strain.
You're not seeing double, we're brothers. We were even trying to do the like half face thing. Um, so we're talking about Mandalorian episode 1 of season 3. I've seen it one in parts. So I watched the first episode and I went back and watched different parts of it. How many times have you seen it?
I've seen it twice now. I watched it normally the first time, and the second time I was pausing and looking at little details
Yeah.
in the background. Needless to say, we're both huge Star Wars fans, and I loved it. I thought it was a great start to the season. It seemed to
Yeah.
give you a little taste of different things going on, so you could start a lot of different threads.
Had a lot of stuff in it. It was like he was
Yeah,
all over the place, different
it felt
planets,
epic
everything. Yeah.
because it went all over in that one little 30-minute episode. But yeah, I'm real excited about it. I think it's a great start. Um, the We can go through and talk about, from beginning. We can delve down and concentrate a little bit on different parts. I have some notes of things that I, you know, really thought was cool or whatever, or worth mentioning. And I've even got two little trivia questions for you
Oh,
that we
okay.
can
Yeah,
talk about at the end.
I'll probably fail on those, but that'd be cool. I
Okay.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the different parts. So the first thing that you see is we got this scene, right? Where the
Yeah. Now, tell
Mandalorian's
me,
doing
tell me
stuff.
this: did you think that this was a flashback?
Yes.
I did
Yeah.
too. I think that's what they were going for. I think
Yeah,
they
I
intended for you to think that that was Den as a kid.
yeah, this kid right here, if it goes
Yeah, I
to
think
it.
they purposely made him look like somebody who could have been him.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I noticed he
and
had blue eyes, and I was like, I don't think that guy has blue eyes. I think he's got brown eyes.
yeah,
So did they mess up? Or...
I just figured it was what we were seeing. And then I noticed that Vizsla was in there, and I thought, oh, I didn't know he was that old. And he wouldn't have to
Right.
be that old. He could just be older, to where he's an adult at this time. So
Yeah.
it totally would have worked. And this obviously wouldn't be necessarily the same helmet we see at the beginning because, it's smaller. So it totally could have been. So I'm pretty sure that they intended you to think that this was a flashback until the ship came in.
Right. Now let me ask you
Needless to
something.
say, everybody, spoilers. These are all going to
Yeah.
be intended for you to watch after you've
Right.
seen the episode.
Yeah, we're totally spoiling the entire thing. I should have said that up front, I guess. I'll put that in the description. um,
Yeah,
uh,
good.
I think I'm question for you. How long do you think it's been since season 2, or I guess the last
Okay.
end of Boba Fett, right?
Yeah,
Because
I probably would have guessed some time had passed if I didn't know anything. But outside of this, I did hear an interview. I didn't see the interview myself, but I heard that it was mentioned that a couple of years have gone by throughout the course of all of this. Now, where
okay,
that time passage happens isn't super clear, but if I had to guess, I would think that seasons 1 and 2 of Mandalorian were pretty dense. And then the big jump probably came between the end of season 2 and where we see the Mandalorian and the beginning of Book of Boba Fett. So that when we see the Mandalorian in Book of Boba Fett, he's already been out cutting butchers in half for a while now, or various other kinds of
right,
people. And then he goes and has his little adventure with Book of Boba Fett. And now this is probably not too long after Book of Boba Fett. So most of that 2 years, I think there's been quite a jump there. But that would mean then that Grogu was with Luke for a pretty good amount of time.
yeah. I don't know if they were together that long. Do you think?
I don't think the full 2 years. I'm just saying, like,
Oh, okay.
if you charted it all out on a timeline, I'll bet a big chunk of it was that period between
Oh,
season
but
two.
one of the reasons why I asked that question is look how many people are in their little cult sect now. Like that's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, especially a lot of young ones, right?
Yeah, now that we know that this is indeed present day, that means
Right.
that she's gathered up quite a bit of people
Now,
and a lot of young people.
whenever they showed up in Boba Fett, it was just the armor and Isla, right? So
Yeah.
as
Now,
far as we know, maybe they had others somewhere else or something.
yeah, I suspect there were probably others somewhere else, and then this is probably those folks came together, and then some additionals, and then they've got all these young people. So she's been
Yeah.
hard at work. And what I find interesting is that all of the commentary, all of the people speculating, all the reviews, everybody seems to think that the arc of this is going to be that Din is going to realize that this little offshoot he's in is too beholden to rigid doctrine, and part of his arc is going to be freeing from this. But I think it would be really interesting if they went a different way. If this sect kind of became the dominant that ends up being the new Mandalore, and everybody joins the let's keep our helmets on and all this stuff, and that just becomes Mandalorians
Hmm.
by the end of all this. I think that would be really cool. Maybe Din could have his own arc, but I still think that it's a little too predictable if it just ends up where everybody goes, okay, and at the end the armor takes her helmet off and they all learn to just kind of let things go. I don't see that.
I think from what Bo-Katan was talking about, like how that cult and other people broke off and stuff. I think the new Mandalore is going to be several sections coming back together. Like we're gonna
figuring out some way to coexist.
yeah, because she's got her whole little section that she said broke off and went just off doing whatever they want, mercenary work. So that whole section needs to come back, and then that cult, like you're going to see a combination of all of them, I think. And he's going to have to basically be the glue between this weird cult that won't take off their helmet and normal Mandalore, I think.
Yeah, maybe so. But I'm excited to see where it goes. So yeah, I thought that was a flashback. Where and I was wondering like where all these new Mandalorians came from. It would be interesting to meet some of them in particular. Maybe he'll go scoop them up and get them involved in stuff.
Yeah, if he gets all washed or whatever it is he needs to do in the baths, once he comes back, like I doubt the rest of the series is just going to be him hanging out, right? So it's hanging out, dunking kids in water or whatever, or whatever she was about to do once she put the helmet on, right?
Right. Oh, and you know what else is cool about that? I was thinking, okay, so they're about to do the little thing, and the kids repeating the lines, and then the big alligator attacks. And it interrupted him, and so at this point I'm still thinking this is Flashback to Din, and I told my wife, I said, oh, he never actually completed the oath, and I thought that was going to be some kind of plot point or something.
That's funny. I'm sure they're so strict at some point, like right after it's dead, she goes, you're not going to take your helmet off, right? Right?
Right. What about Navarro? That was fun to see.
Oh, well, I want to do it in order. So the next part is where he talks to the armorer, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, after he destroys the stuff, he has that scene where they're talking.
She's like,
the scene right here where she's sitting there.
And still here. You're not a man.
Yeah, he brings that peace.
And I think that Grogu knows what's going on. He seemed to recognize when she said, "You're not a Mandalorian anymore," and he went, "Oh," and looked up. And then whenever he was like, "What if I go get in the waters and I find it and all this?" and she's considering, and she looks down at him, and he's like giving her the puppy dog eyes, like he's like trying to use his cuteness to persuade her or something. I think that was intentional.
I was thinking like someone I was talking to who was saying like, well, why do you want to go back to that cult and all that stuff? You're free now, but that's his family. He grew up with them. That's all he knows. And now he has this small child to take care of. Well, you would want to be connected to your family to help you raise them.
You got to have your, that's what I'm saying. It's not, I don't think, like we as, Westerners, Americans or whatever, we're very much into that whole kind of like we don't want to be held down by a bunch of stodgy tradition stuff and all that. For the most part, the mainstream, and so we look at it through that lens. But I kind of like that it's not, that he wants to be his little group or whatever.
Well, I mean, in any group system that has this heavy tradition, you always have people that are willing to bend and people who aren't willing to bend. And obviously, the armorer is not willing to bend.
So maybe they can go from like, you're no longer a Mandalorian to, well, we have our ways and other Mandalorians have their ways and we're going to get along and we're going to work together when we have to, but we're still going to keep our ways.
You're no longer a whatever Mandalorian, but you're a Mandalorian kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe they'll kind of shift a little bit like that.
But that doesn't seem like something the armorer will concede. It sounds like to me, it feels like the armorer has to die if that group's going to do anything else other than what it's doing.
I don't know. It's hard to know what people are going to act like once they get into life and death situations together. And
when a group has a saying that is, "This is the way," there's only one way in their mind.
One way.
Yeah.
These things change. And it also makes total sense that there would be this radicalization that happens after you go and carpet bomb a planet, you know?
Yeah.
That always happens. It creates these radical groups that are like, are they radical or are they just responding to the radical nature of the attacks against them and become more stringent and more militant?
I think that group will eventually have to shatter somewhat because they'll have to bend a little bit.
There'll be people that are like, yeah, this is happening.
Right.
Yeah. And how are they going to all interpret the sword thing? It's just going to be great to see.
So after that, I didn't want to skip over this part.
Let me just mention real quick because I mentioned Grogu in that scene.
Oh, sure.
I think Grogu understands a lot about what's going on, and for some reason, just isn't talking yet. But my wife said this too. Like when Grogu starts talking, it'll probably just be like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, like it won't be goo goo gaga. I think it'll be like, "Okay, I'm ready to talk now." And
okay, so after he leaves there, we got to talk about this part, which was pretty awesome.
Oh yes.
So the Purrgil, those giant.
All right. Well, you answered one of my trivia questions. What's the name of those giant creatures? Yeah, the Purrgil.
Yeah, well, I had to look it up. I wouldn't have known had I not looked it up.
I only knew because I'd been doing stuff for the role-playing game and writing stuff about hyperspace mishaps. And so, you know, that was one.
This is a huge thing, I think, because I think this is going to go into the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, because isn't that what happened to
Ezra? Yeah.
Ezra?
So she's still looking for Ezra as far as I know. Maybe at least she's looking for Thrawn.
Now, was this a random encounter or were they attracted to, did they sense Grogu and come over there?
That's what I thought might have happened.
I think there was at least a little bit of something going on.
Does this mean that Ezra has been caught in hyperspace tunnels this whole time kind of thing?
I don't know.
Because otherwise, where has he been? What's he been doing? You know, why is he so hard to find?
A hyperspace tunnel doesn't freeze you in time or anything. It's still be older. I don't know. It'd be a boring place to be all the time, but
yeah,
I feel like, well, what if he went to like, what's that? Again, this is spoilers on Clone Wars a little bit, but he went to some of those forced places, let's just say, some kind of special temple or the core of life, or all these different world between worlds. There's a lot of different of these mystical places. What if he went someplace like that?
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah, some kind of void or something that I don't know, because whenever Ahsoka was on the last season, she was asking where Thrawn was. And that makes me think that Thrawn somehow has given, he was with him at the time. But if his assistant or the magistrate who was under him at some point, if she has that knowledge, that means he's giving out information somewhere, which means he's gotten out of whatever this is. And that's why she's trying to
give her information, right? That she said was useful.
Actually, they never said. She asked the question and they cut it. What was that?
I believe there were scenes with her after that, and I'm trying to remember if there was any indication that she got anything useful.
I don't think they showed any scenes after that. She defeated her, and she said, "Now where's your master Thrawn?" And then it cuts to her, like, folding arms, looking at Mandalorian. All right, go get your kid or whatever. And then,
So if Thrawn had been her master before all that went down and Thrawn was around, and she could have just said, "I don't know."
right. But if she just didn't know, seems like she would have just been like, I don't know, go away
There'd
before
be
the
some
storm
reason that Ahsoka would think that
Right.
she.
He must have sent a signal or something that she tracked, or
Yeah, I think you're right though. We won't find any of that out until Ahsoka sleeps.
But anyway, I love the little Easter egg of the giant well.
Right, and it may not just be an Easter egg, like you said. It might be some significance to that.
So after that, that's the Navarro, which is a good chunk of the episode, really.
Yeah, Navarro was really cool to see, all prosperous and everything. Yeah, more greenery planted around there. See, Grogu's got a new bulletproof case.
They're no longer eating the Kowakian monkey lizards.
I thought about that, like maybe them not eat, like maybe Kowakian monkey lizards is not a thing you really normally want to eat, but they were desperate before, so now they don't have to eat them because they have other food sources that are better.
Someone
like seeing the Mon Calamari dude.
Someone said that it looked like a Renaissance festival.
It did. Okay, wait, before you get to the pirates, don't go to a scene of the pirates, because one of my trivia questions is, what were the species of which the little group of pirate guys trying to get into school were?
So I know some of them. I know Nikto. I know not Mon Calamari. Quarren. I think there was a Trandoshan behind him.
There was.
I don't remember who's on the left. Was that another Nikto or a Klatooinian?
There was 2 Niktos.
Okay.
There was the main guy.
Vane was a Nikto.
Right? Another Nikto.
Vane was
a Klatooinian. You're right.
Okay. Hey, look at that.
So there were actually 6 of them. Nikto,
were there?
2 Niktos, Klatooinian, Trandoshan, Quarren, and Weequay. What's interesting is that they killed 5 of his friends and let him go. But later, when he's in the fighter, he says, "You killed 4 of my brothers."
Yeah. I noticed that too.
Make it seem like he wasn't beat as bad, or one of those guys he didn't care about, or did he forget, or what?
Maybe 2 of them squirmed away.
Oh, maybe one of them lived, and then
one of them lived, or maybe he just didn't care about one of them.
One of them was just some other dude that was waiting around, wrong place, wrong time.
That was one of those guys' brothers. He didn't care. He was just along for the ride.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I gotta mention though is they not even talking about the makeup of the alien, but the outfits they're wearing, the clothing they're wearing is just so great. Such great costume design. There's little details and rivets and medallions and things on all of them. It's obvious pirate stuff, but made from sci-fi Star Wars-y pirate stuff. But look at the necklaces, and it's just glorious.
It kind of makes me
sorry.
It kind of makes me think of his name just went right on my head, but the Pirate King from Clone Wars. What was his name?
Yeah, Hondo.
Hondo. Right? Yeah. So it kind of makes me think of that, those styles and stuff that he wore.
Yeah, that stuff too. Yeah. But usually bad guys, ruffians, they kind of like throw on some jerseys and a bandolier, and it's just kind of. But these guys have like main character level detailing on their outfits. It's just, and like the Quarren has some kind of, you can't see it in this shot, but on his belt he's got some kind of like elaborate gold medallion thing that looks like some sort of artifact. I don't know where they show that. Maybe there. Get in there. Where that thumbnail?
Oh, there you go.
It is. See that on his belt? That little treasure thing?
Oh, that looks like a buckle because see the blue sash is going through it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's some kind of round medallion looking thing. It's real elaborate.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, all of their outfits are just amazing.
These look like little lightsabers.
See some cosplay of those pirates.
Yeah, I love the pirate scene. I thought that was pretty awesome.
I don't want to get to the fighter thing yet because we're going through this.
Right. So at Navarro, he meets High Magistrate Karga, which his outfit, I just had it up here a minute ago, but the whole outfit that he's wearing, this is so great. I love that he has these little droids that are carrying his cape.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
See that? Like when they start moving?
Funny.
There's a better shot of it somewhere else, but yeah, as they're walking away, you can see it.
I think when they're walking back to the building, you can see it.
Yeah, there they go.
There they are.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, good stuff. Like the musicians, that's nice.
Yeah,
part of the Renaissance theater.
Such a nice little place. Yeah, I like that you're getting to see a different, and that's another reason why I asked, how long has it been since all that stuff? Because a lot of stuff has changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was pretty fun. And then we also get, so he wants to repair his friend.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
The IG-11. He wants to repair his friend, IG-11.
This is really strange to me because IG-11 had this thermal detonator looking thing in his chest.
I know.
And blew up. And then the part of him that survived was like below that. So, if this thing had been designed like a, what are those mines called that are directional, where everything blasts out one direction?
Right. I know what you're saying. One directional mines.
Yeah, but there's a word for limpet.
Claymore?
Claymores. Yeah, if they were designed like that, where they just blast out that one direction, like the blast was mainly meant to hurt whoever's in front of them while taking him out, I could kind of see it. So it's a bit of a stretch for sure, but
I guess it wouldn't be, because it's called a self-destruct sequence.
Right.
And the whole idea is that people shouldn't be able to do what they're doing, which is remake the assassin droid.
What you really care about is that you don't have a functioning assassin droid, which he doesn't. And what he's trying to get, the little program core of his that Quill made or whatever, it's not the part that would be the big deal for somebody trying to go against the self-destruct thing. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you don't care about the individual identity of the robot normally. So, it did its job as far as, like, you're not going to use that thing to have an assassin droid. You'd have to rebuild the whole body. But, yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but okay. Whatever.
Maybe just at the end, it kind of goes pop and popped out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, anyway, it'd be kind of cool. Oh, it was cool to see him crawl around like a Terminator and start coming after him.
Oh, right. Where he grabs.
I thought that'd make Ben just go, okay, well, never mind about that.
Right? He still wants his friend, though.
Maybe the part that can be salvaged is Quill's reprogramming. And basically salvage that.
Oh, maybe. I guess in that way, he kind of gets two of his friends back. A little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so now we've got well, here's a nice trivia question for you. What is the species that Babu Frik is?
Starts with an A?
It does. They actually say it in this episode, too.
A rock? Who?
No. Anzellan.
What?
Anzellan.
Anzellan, right. We see that guy is Babu Frik in... Babu Frik is an Anzellan. That is when we first saw in
episode 8,
Rise of Skywalker. Oh, episode 8.
Yeah,
I thought it was 9.
Was it 9? Well, you might be right. It's hard. Yeah. You're right. You're right. It's 9. Sorry, I was thinking.
None of these guys are him, right?
Is not the one talking actual Babu Frik?
Oh, really?
I don't know. That might be. This one,
I think it was. I thought these were just like different dudes. That would be interesting to know. But
I love that you have to crawl into their little space.
yeah, that's cheap rent right there, man.
Yeah. You would think they need more storage, though.
I like those little guys. They can get in there good and get into the circuitry easy. I'm just glad Grogu didn't try to eat it.
I think he just loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was a little
Bad
Bad.
baby.
bad baby.
Bad baby. That was
Yeah.
great.
That's good stuff. Classic
All
Star
right.
Wars.
So then the next part is an awesome dog
Oh,
fight.
wait. Before we go into this,
Okay.
one more thing. It was cool for them to mention Cara Dune so that we have some kind of indication. Oh, she was hired by the Republic into
Special Forces, I think I said.
So, okay, so now we have kind of a what happened to her. You know, they had a little mention of that. I think that's all they needed to really do.
It's nice to tie up the character. I really like the character a lot. So
yeah, me too. But if she's not in there, at least you want some kind of mention. Like, where'd she go? What happened? So that was cool. But
and they even discussed Gideon too. So
what's that?
They even discussed Gideon, saying that they put him some secret place to talk to him about it. Yeah, Moff Gideon from last season.
Oh, right. And that he's being put on trial by the
war crimes
tribunal. Yeah, war crimes. We don't know, but he might escape or something might happen with him. I see him again. I hope we do because I like that actor.
Yeah.
That actor, by the way, is in the new Netflix series Kaleidoscope. You heard about this?
Oh, really? No, I haven't.
Total
I've seen the episode. I mean, I've seen the trailer for it or something.
Yeah, he's good in that. He's good in that.
Nice.
So yeah, the space battle. It was awesome.
Oh yeah. So yeah, just took it off. Let me show you. Not show you. You saw it too, but yeah, this space battle was so awesome. I couldn't wait to see what he would do in this ship because we already know it's an awesome ship. It's same one that Anakin blew up the robot facility with, right?
Yeah. In-one starfighter. In-one starfighter. Yeah, and it's not just a regular in-one because it's got that extra engine in the middle that's been added.
Yeah, it's been modified. Yeah.
Underneath the bottom, it's got an extra engine. Yeah, that guy was cool. You see him again. Now, one of the cool things too is the way it starts out. When he accelerates, you could tell that's not the super acceleration, right? That we saw before. It's just an acceleration. So the fact that we knew he could do that, and yet he accelerated normally, meant that was basically like when the guys tell you to get out of the shop and you go to the front, you turn around the open sign to the close and you lock the door. What scene was that?
Man moment, yeah.
Yeah, that's like when you say, okay, well, let's do this. So I knew they were in trouble when he took off at slower speed.
Yeah. Well, I love it whenever he goes missing. That's when you're in trouble. And he was like,
"Oh yeah,
anybody see him?"
Like explosion behind the asteroid. All really greatly choreographed. That's what.
They did really great. And then they pulled up to the what's his name? Pirate King Gorian Shard. I looked him up. They don't have a name for a species.
Yeah, I think this is total new dude, total new species. Interesting.
Weird looking.
You know what he looked to me like? And the reason I thought I was going to find something is I tried to look up something about him too. I thought I was going to find out that he was one of the bad guys in like the Droids cartoon or the Ewok cartoon or something, because he looks like something that would have been drawn in one of those cartoons,
Yeah. He's kind of interesting. I didn't like the puppetry on his mouth. The second time I watched him talk, it was a bit off.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, that's just being nitpicky. I like the character of him. It's kind of like those sea turtles that get the moss growing on them and stuff. Oh,
yeah. You don't think he's a plant creature. You think he just has
growing. I guess he could be a plant creature. I didn't even think of that. I thought he was more of like a lizard creature that just has the stuff growing on him. But yeah he could actually be plant.
I like his red eyes.
Yeah.
And the ship design was cool too. Can you go back to that?
The
The
big
pirate
ship.
capital ship. Um, and it was cool how they revealed it too, because I told you I'm bringing them to you, and I
Yeah.
knew I was about to see a big ship, and then they go around that asteroid and you see it. That was cool. I don't understand. They got
There
a
it is.
weapons up on me, so I might as well just sit here. Um, I don't know.
Well, if it's like missiles that seek and
Like
hit
he
you
knew there
because
was
of
enough
heat and
missiles he
stuff.
wouldn't be able to possibly. Yeah, those guys in the little ball turrets were really cool. They come
Oh
down
yeah,
from the bottom of the ship.
down here. Whenever the guns, those, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's cool about these designs too? There's a guy called E.C. Henry who has a YouTube channel, and he does these incredible Star Wars uh, 3D design ships and stuff that he gets from different. Like one of my favorite series is he does. He finds little fuzzy ships that were shown briefly in the background, like in Return of the Jedi and stuff, and then he'll design like the full detailed model what it looks
Oh
like.
wow.
So when he does this, one of the things that he's great about doing is capturing the Star Wars feel. There's a certain logic and detail style that makes it Star Wars. You also think about how does the technology work in Star Wars, and so this ship here is really cool because it follows a lot of the same design lineage that you see in some of the separatist ships and stuff with the power on the top, and so it totally comfortably fits within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I mean, one of the main things about Star Wars for me is that the ships hardly ever look like they would fly through, especially the bigger ones, don't look like they would fly through air very well. Like they'd have these big heads or something, but in space it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
They always have like these big sections here, and then a little bit here, and then a big piece here, and it's you know,
Yeah.
also asymmetry is a kind of a big thing because it looks like something else comes out here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I would like to
So,
get a better look at the show. Yeah.
so after that, he goes to he names the planet a new planet that they fly to.
Right. Which
Uh,
isn't actually new.
I looked it up and they didn't have it listed in the
Okay.
Mandalorian
I would
system.
have never known this, but thanks to a Star Wars channel called Star Wars Explained, which is a really cool other Star Wars shout out, that channel. That video mentioned the planet Kalavala.
Right.
Kalavala. Kalavala.
Kalaba. Yeah.
Anyway, that it was mentioned in the Clone Wars as the ancestral seat of the House of Creeds.
I thought he called this Kalamala. Or maybe it's just the way he said it.
Kalavala.
Oh, okay. All right. I just misheard how he said it.
So ancestral seat of House Creeds. And I would have never gathered that. The Clone Wars have so many episodes. There's tons of stuff that's hard to remember from all those details. But apparently, this is the first time it's ever been shown, though.
It's pretty cool. It's a nice planet. Why don't they just settle there? Why they got to go to the poison one?
Well, I'm sure many have, thus the
Yeah.
building. But that droid there that was greeting him, it has the same little shape in the chest that Mandalorian armor has, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, the little crest or whatever it is.
Yeah, probably just a design shape or something, but they show it up closer at some point. The architectural style of this building matches what we see in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, they did a great job.
I would imagine what's going on here is that there's probably a lot of people at this facility. Maybe not a huge number, but there's other people. She's not just walking around in a big marble room by herself. And then probably she was contacted and he said, "Hey, I'm coming in. I want to talk to you." So she came out here to meet him, and she's waiting on him. If you know all that, it doesn't seem as weird. Otherwise, it just seems like she's just sitting alone on this island with one droid in a chair, looking out into the
I think
distance.
that
He walks up. I don't think that's the case.
I think that's what they're trying to say happened, because she says that all of her people left her. I think they all used to live here.
Other people there, maybe, or some.
No, I
other
think
people.
they all used to live here, and then the rest of them all left, and she's sitting there and she's angry. She's not going to move on. She's clearly angry about what's happened.
Sure, but I think she doesn't just sit there all day.
Oh, no, I think she must have a room or something, and she was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
somebody's landing. All right, I'll go to the throne room."
She knows he's landing there.
Like before he came in here, she was probably just playing on her phone or something.
I don't know. I don't know what she's up to. She probably is pissed that the fleet is going off doing mercenary stuff.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but the fact that her people went off doing mercenary stuff, and she's sitting here blaming his cult. I mean, look at that face. That's pissed. But she's blaming his cult for the state of things right now.
It's weird that she said your cult gave up on Mandalore a long time ago.
Before the Purge. Yeah.
I guess they gave up on living on Mandalore because they thought it was decimated, but they didn't give up on being Mandalorians.
Well, they were probably like Death not Death Squad, Death what's the
Death Watch.
Death Watch, thank you. They were probably like Death Watch, where they had their own little idea, and Death Watch kind of left too.
Death Watch was on the moon, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where. Yeah. But that's going to be cool to see her, arc or whatever she goes through.
Yeah. Well, starting her off being angry like that at least gives you a path to her eventually fighting Din and getting the sword. Because as much as I like our main character, I also want her to get the Darksaber. Like, because,
it's so cool that they set up that little conflict to put you in a paradox of how you feel. That's a neat thing I've noticed at other times where the writing's been really good. It's like you want two opposite things that can't coexist.
Yeah. And that's also part of the thing, is like with his character, you don't want him to be the leader. He's not a leader person. You want him to be the lone gunman and all that stuff, right? It just wouldn't feel right.
I want him to be out there bounty hunting in, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even in the last season, he was like you.
More epic status of some sort.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole episode. I mean, so much stuff happened in, how long was the episode? About, it doesn't say right here.
30-something minutes.
Yeah, 30-something minutes. 36 minutes?
Yeah.
No, 33 minutes, 34 minutes if you don't count credits.
Oh, okay. I thought it felt longer.
Yeah.
It felt.
I thought it was like a 50-minute.
To me, and I was like, wow, man. And after I saw the length, I was like, oh, I wish it'd been 40-something.
Well, always, every episode, right? So it's a great way to start off the season.
It's probably for the best that Disney releases them one at a time, because I would have been watching right now.
I actually prefer it because you get to talk about it. We can have shows like this and discuss
it creates more of a community around something, because everybody can. You don't have to worry that you haven't seen the latest. When somebody's talking about something, or that somebody's seen something you haven't because they haven't.
Right.
Out. One thing that I most try to avoid is the stuff from Star Wars itself. They have more spoiler stuff, like the Star Wars channel.
Oh, I know.
They put out way too much for me. I don't want to see all that.
Yeah, I mean, even in the banners, sometimes if you don't watch it that day, the next day they change it with, they put her face in it. Now I know she was in it and all that stuff. So, yeah. You got to watch it day one as fast as you can. Don't go on social media. Don't watch shows like this because we'll spoil it.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to do an episode of this after each episode of Mandalorian. Unfortunately, we're going to miss next episode because I'm going to be out of town. But
we won't miss it entirely. We'll just be late on our review of it.
This episode won't.
That's going to be atypical, though, because you're traveling.
Right.
But other than that.
Yeah. And then when we come back, we'll cover episode 2 and 3, right? Mm-hmm. Or we could just do 2 different episodes. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, let's do them separate because that way people can decide what they want.
Right. You won't have to watch both
together.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Leave comments, give us likes and subscriptions, all that stuff. Let us know what we forgot, what your favorite part was.
Give us
if you had to say what your favorite part was, what was it?
Oh, my favorite part? Wow. I think it might be the space battle with the ships.
I knew you were going to say the space battle.
So good. But it's hard to pick.
Yeah.
But you know what? Also, when I look back on this episode later, having seen the whole season, I might change my mind because you don't know really what pieces you're seeing now are going to be an important part of something later or have some meaning you didn't realize.
Right.
And we'll see. But
I think I like
in terms of the kid and me liking Star Wars, that was an awesome battle.
Yeah. I think the Bo-Katan interaction for me was best just because I love that character so much.
Yeah, and I'm not even really, I like Bo-Katan a lot, but I actually thought the interaction was just kind of like he shows up and she's like, "Oh, you suck, get out of here," and he's like, "Okay," and he left. I didn't see much to that scene, really.
I liked her acting though.
Here, she's going to be in this season. Okay.
I liked her acting though. Like you could, not only is she obviously angry, but you can feel all the things she's saying in between the lines and everything.
You can tell the actress has Katie Sackhoff, right? Has gone over what all's going on and what she should be feeling and stuff as they've gone over that. And I can just imagine they've learned going into great depths about everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Oops.